K-pop, K-content, Samsung Galaxy, and dazzling city lights. Korea bulls all over the world are waving their favorite idols merch around. This is the most prosperous time in this country ever. It surely is the party time, right? But who is this guy? Who the fuck is this lonely guy lying on his bed, looking at smartphone screen 12 hours every day? Let's ask him. Dude, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Don't you have a job?
I'm just resting.
Resting? Like vacation?
No, as I said, I'm just resting. I don't have a job. I don't plan to have a job. Honestly, I don't even want a job.
What is this guy? Yeah, this guy here is our subject today. Believe or not, there are 700,000 people like him in South Korea right now. A failed generation, a national disaster, the just resting youth. Okay, first thing first, here's your instructor today. Yeah, it's me, a 36-year-old Korean living in a tiny shitty rat hole, no car, no wife, stuck in this room, watching Netflix 24/7. And my resume is basically a blank sheet of paper I use as a coaster. Yeah, I'm kinda one of them. The only difference is that I own some unsuccessful YouTube channels and they don't. Oh, by the way, this is my first video in this channel, and in case you don't understand my English, I prepared captions for you. And if you go down a little and go left, okay, hot, yeah, there you go. Every year, the Korean government conducts something called the Economically Active Population Survey. And there's a question in there only for the jobless guys, which is, what was your main activity last week? Let me go down the list. Childcare, housework, attending school, going to cram school, job training, job hunting, preparing for entrance exams, old age, disability, waiting for military enlistment, and then there's number 11, just rested. It means they are doing absolutely nothing. They don't have kids. They aren't studying. They are not preparing for a job. They just took a break. And this group counts for 700,000 people, which is basically 1/8 of South Korean young generation. And it's increasing every single year. It's not even because there are not enough jobs. It's not even because of a lack of government support. Sure, those might be the part of the reason, but I didn't make this video to sit here and whine about the South Korean government. Think about it, 7 out of 8 young people are living in this society just fine. That means South Korea isn't fundamentally broken. So we need to look at this from a different angle. Alright, let's rewind the tape. How far back? Let's go to 1984. The Korea you know today didn't exist. Back then, GDP per capita was barely $2,000. We were ranking somewhere around 70th in the world. Gangnam wasn't Gangnam style. It was just starting to rise from the dirt. If you could afford banana, you were considered the rich kid on the block. In that era, job satisfaction was an alien concept. It was purely about survival. Whether you were a taxi driver, a factory worker, or an office clerk, you grinded your asses off 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. Yes, their blood and sweat rebuilt this country. But in that grueling process, they learned one painful absolute lesson. If I had gone to a good university, I wouldn't be suffering like this. My life would be on easy mode. Why? Back then, the college campus was a sanctuary allowed only for the chosen 30%. The other 70%, they had to pick up a wrench instead of a pen, a sewing machine instead of a book. So they made a vow. My kids will live a different life. They wanted to pass down the ultimate cheat code they discovered. Studying is the only ladder to escape this hell. But they made one critical mistake. They kept screaming, "You have to study," but they forgot to explain why. Because to them, the why was obvious. They lived through the hunger. So these kids grew up hearing that mantra on loop. They were meant to be doctors, lawyers, diplomats. So dating, video games, having fun, those were sins. Those luxuries were only for the kids of stupid parents who didn't know the secret formula. Check this stat. The average age of first sexual experience in Korea is one of the highest in the world. 60% happen in their early 20s, 20% in their late 20s. Teenagers, less than 10%. Basically, Korean teens are living like monks. Eventually, this collective madness paid off. That 30% college entrance rate skyrocketed to 80% by 2011. In Korea, if you don't go to university, even a pigeon on the street my speed on you. Even that pigeon probably has a degree. The world completely changed. In a country where a degree used to make you the top 30%, now a degree is just the default setting. It's starter pack. Think about it. A perfect 10-point gymnastics routine from 1970s. Today, that's just a warm-up stretch at a local gym. We are living in the era of skill inflation. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It actually means country has developed. Every citizen got smarter. But here represents the real problem. When everyone lives the exact same life path, it becomes terrifyingly easy to compare levels. I can measure my success against yours with mathematical precision. Living in this society is like playing a massive competitive video game, like League or Overwatch. If you play these games, you know the concept of placement matches, the first few games that determine your rank for the season. Life in Korea is exactly the same mechanism. So placement match number 1, it's SAT. Since everyone goes to college, the value of a degree is worthless. Only thing that matters is brand and title now. And there's a term, in Seoul. The college is located in Seoul. This is the promised land allowed only for the top 10%. The bare minimum requirement for what Koreans consider a human being. So where did the rest go? What is this? The woods? The jungle? Where am I? Welcome to the middle of nowhere university, Jijapdae. Namely schools buried deep in the mountains far outside of Seoul. Campuses that look like abandoned ancient temples. From this moment on, you become your parents' greatest shame. I am not exaggerating. A friend of mine literally got slapped in the face by his father, and my own mother, she fell into a deep depression for 2 whole years. There is a famous post about this. Jijapdae is just a theme park. It's a role-playing zone for kids who couldn't get into a real university but still have fantasies about college life from K-dramas. You register for classes, you eat cafeteria food, you live in a dorm, you even have a campus romance. It feels so real. You might get confused and think, wait, is this a real university? But here's the reality check. On your last day, when you receive that diploma, think of it as a passport from Disneyland. If you take that toy passport to the airport, the immigration officers will laugh in your face. Okay, but this is not the end of the world. Whether you went to a top-tier university or a theme park, it was only the first placement match. Here comes placement match number 2, the job market. There are thousands of companies in Korea, but the ones you wanna go, they are already fixed. Samsung, Hyundai, LG. It's the exact same situation as college entrance just a few years later. If you don't get into those, your life enters hard mode. Korea has the biggest wage gap between large corporations and SMEs in the OECD. The winners at big tech company start with 40k, 50k a year. The losers, they start at 20k. You have to grind for 10 years at a small company just to match the starting salary of a big company. Okay, let's say you survive the job market. Game over? No. Placement match 3, marriage. Marriage in Korea isn't always Disney fairy tale. How much do you earn? How fancy is your job title? Height, weight, plastic surgery status? How much assets do your parents own? People investigate this stuff like Sherlock Holmes on Adderall. If you don't meet the specs, your romance becomes a tragedy. Now, as I said, the vast majority of people just accept this. But no matter how perfect the code is, bugs exist. No matter how perfect the factory is, rejects happen. Some people start asking dangerous questions. What the hell have I been living for? I'm 27, and is this it? They look around. A world where your school is tiered, your job is tiered, even your marriage partner is given a grade, and in this hyper-calculated world, my future theory is clearly visible. If I continue this placement match, I'm destined to be hard-stuck bronze. So they reach a very smart, very efficient conclusion. I'd rather stay unranked. I refuse to be bronze. So they slam the door shut and log out of the game. Stuck in their room, well, no one will ever judge their rank for the rest of their life. Okay, that's all I got for today's video. It might be a bit generalized, exaggerated, or just my subjective take, but from my experience, this is pretty much accurate. You've probably already heard how over Korea is, how low the birth rate is, and how depressed people are. But this resting youth thing is just the latest trend showing exactly how fucked Korea is. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I'll be back with another video.